And now, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rimes.
All right, welcome to the show. Thanks for spending some time with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Realty. As you know, my wife Lindsay and I own a top real estate team here in Tampa Bay, and we always help sellers sell their properties faster for more money, profit more on the sale of their real estate. Buyers, we're also certified negotiation experts, help you on the buy side, investing in real estate, refinancing. And then we have 80 different categories of consumer advocate. These are business owners, attorneys, CPAs, financial advisors that we bring on the program to serve the community. Almost 12 years, actually over 12 years now on air. We're working on year 13 as a consumer advocate here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We got special guest in studio, Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins in studio with us, Hillsborough County Commissioner Joshua Wostal in studio with us. So, yeah, let's give a little teaser of what we're going to talk about today. Jay, go ahead. Go first.
Well, Brendan, again, thanks for having us on, man. Great chatting with you. Appreciate what you do. Love to talk about property tax. Let's talk about those things that put money back in people's pockets. Yes. We know those kitchen table issues matter more than ever today. You know, there's only so many things we can solve at the state level. A lot of it is driven federally, but property tax is one of those that's right in our bailiwick. Yeah. And then, there's so much else going on. Insurance. You can talk about New York City. You can talk about education. Yes. How about just some common sense across day-to-day life? Yeah. That's a glorious thing to talk about.
Common sense, not so common these days, is it, Joshua?
No, it's not.
No.
And I would just say that anybody arguing against property tax reform and against consumption taxes is that when the senator was in the Senate, when the lieutenant governor was in the Senate still, they did an excellent job of making most things that you need to live on tax-free now. Most people don't know that. Anything all the way down to AA batteries sells tax-free. So property taxes are far more burdensome on low-income, fixed-income seniors. It just makes sense.
Yeah, and you see people voting with their feet. I mean, that's really people moving to Florida from California, from New York, Illinois, all these different places. They're moving to Florida in record numbers, which on one hand, we like it as real estate agents. On the other hand, we're like, hey, don't New York or Florida and all those different sayings. And I've seen some of the social media memes that says, we fool. We'll dive into some of these conversations. I want to talk a little bit about the H-1B visas program as well. I know Governor DeSantis has been talking about that a lot lately. Insurances, and I love the idea of making it more affordable. A lot of the police, fire, first responders, modest wages and as far as generally speaking, and the affordability factor in Florida has really been a problem for a lot of them. When you look at single family homes, condos, the condo market is really, really in dire straits as well. But there's legislation that's been enacted to help with that as well. All right, a couple of hot listings, and we'll jump right back into this here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Let's talk about one of our properties here at 118 Lakeshore Drive East in Palm Harbor, a beautiful waterfront property. This is on Lake Tarpon, right in my backyard here. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage home. You're on the lake. You've got a 180-degree view of Lake Tarpon, 2,500-acre lake. Beautiful boat dock, boat lift, jet ski lift, private pool, and a beautiful property here. Great opportunity to buy real estate right here in beautiful Pinellas County, Florida. One of the best places to live in all of Tampa Bay. 118 Lakeshore Drive East, Palm Harbor, Florida. Another one of our beautiful real estate listings from the Platinum MVP team. All right, here's one in Odessa, 13229 Interlaken Road, Odessa, Florida. We got some property for sale, land for sale, vacant land. Buy some dirt and build here. This is a half-acre lot, opportunity to build your dream home or invest in a growing area of Odessa. You also have a 24 by 30 foot metal storage building already on site, which helps with your build, maybe store some supplies there. Your great location, 5 minutes to Hillsborough County, 15 minutes to Pinellas County, 13229 Interlaken Road, Odessa, Florida. You can see all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. And you can see our radio and TV show partners at consumerqb.com.
Buy dirt, find one you can't live without.
Yeah, and I love that song, kind of leading into another topic in terms of, buying dirt, building a family. I love that song, right? And how much of the nuclear family, Jay, is, you think about the backbone of this country, the God-given natural rights that our forefathers talked about. How much of that do we need to get back to in this country? right?
Well, it's everything, right? Our founding fathers gave us a republic, as Franklin once quipped, right? We have to earn that every day. It was born in Yorktown, right, with the blood of patriots, earned generation over generation, and it's our turn, our time to fight for that.
Yeah.
But we got to protect it for our kids so
That's
they
right.
can do the same thing. It's everything. America is so blessed as we come into our 250th anniversary of our Declaration.
Yeah.
250 years. So grateful to have that. But in the end, man, we've got to get the government out of the way. We've got to stop. We've got to remind people that equality and equity aren't the same thing. Opportunity and outcome, not the same thing. Those two things, you got to have hard work.
Yeah.
It's the American spirit, just to get up, fight every day. That grit is probably the most synonymous word with the American spirit, the American work ethic, and frankly, what our founding fathers really envisioned, I believe.
Right. Yeah. And you think about foreign-born voters, like we saw in New York, versus American-born voters, and you think about the difference of immigration without assimilation.
That's right.
That's
out of
an
many
invasion,
one.
Right. And pluribus unum, right? Or however you say it. I think I said it wrong. But yeah, that saying there is essentially, hey, the American people, the nuclear family, that's what the Christian moral values that were built this country, this great country that was built on. By the way, shout out to Dennis Prager. He's a fellow Salem Media show host. He's been down in a while, but I listen to his Rational Bible series almost every day, and it's such a great series. He talks about all these different things in there. But let's get into some of the kitchen table items, as you mentioned. So let's start with property taxes, because a lot of people are kind of naysaying this. I'm out there spreading the news. I'm sharing the tweets, and when you think about the amount of government money that's been wasted or exposed, there are ways to pay for this, and we're not talking about commercial properties, Airbnb rental properties. We're talking about primary residences.
That's right.
And I think there's a push from some of these other folks around the state. I've heard different names, kind of thrown out there, but the plan for some of the opposition is to throw out multiple bills to dilute the vote. Is that the right? Because this is a 60% threshold.
So anything that is going to move forward has to go on the ballot. It's got to be a constitutional amendment that takes the vote of the people. You have to have 60% to get that over. So you remember the movie The Highlander back in the day? There was a line there can only be one, right? It's the same way. You can only have one per subject.
Right.
If you're going to have one thing, everybody I speak to, 95% of the people, they want property tax relief on homesteaded properties. They want to own their home.
Yes.
Governor DeSantis has been clear over and over and over on this.
Yes.
They want the government out of the way. If you're leasing it from the government on an annual basis, you never really own your home, because they will take your property if you don't pay that.
Yeah.
End of story. The American dream, the fabric of the American family, is built in your home.
Yes.
That's it. We want people to have that. We want the American families to be strong and be bold and have their roots in a community, in their home. That's the American dream. And again, Josh hit on it. You did as well. They give us every reason why we can't do it. But when you get into the math with Doge, or FAFO as we call it here in Florida, but let's also look at ways we can improve. There are better things we can do using the law of large numbers to purchase better when it comes to vehicles, buses, fire trucks. There are things we can do to maximize our training for military, our National Guard, our law enforcement, our firefighters, to take a state investment and an interest in that. We already do. But to regionalize that, to get better assets, better training, better capability, because let's be real, the world around us is incredibly complex. The geopolitics of the world are frightening.
Yes.
And we have to prepare our men and women in law enforcement to do things that they may not be prepared for right now.
Yeah.
And in the end, we got to make sure we have those tools. Those are things we can do, save money, save lives, and live the American dream. And that's check mark, check mark, check mark all day, every day, twice on Sunday.
Yeah, right on, Jay. That's right. Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins in studio with me, Hillsborough County Commissioner Joshua Wostal. I'm your host, Brandon Rimes. And yeah, if you don't own the dirt that your home's built on,
that's right.
You're essentially paying rent to the government. And we see what these governments are doing. They're wasting so much money, pet projects, even right here in Hillsborough County. I mean, you got the county the county sheriff department mixed up in some of this stuff. You've got and we all know that these types of things can happen.
That's right.
When you have when you don't have proper checks and balances in place, and you've got the nepotism that tends to happen when you have all these millions of dollars flowing through these counties. Joshua, right here in Hillsborough County, there was something like $278 million found as excessive spending by Blaise Ngolia, the state CFO.
Yeah, I mean, tomorrow morning we're going to vote. The board's going to vote on giving money to like property taxes to organizations like 200 Muslim Women That Care, the Tampa Bay Gay Pride Band Incorporated. And I don't have, people can choose whatever they want, but I just don't feel like you're saying out of one side of your mouth we don't have room to remove and reduce your property taxes.
Right.
And then you're funding organizations like this. And I
right.
just wanted to say very briefly on the owning your home issue. The lieutenant governor and your senator, I keep mixing that backwards, but he ran a bill.
I did the same thing, Josh. It's okay.
About preventing China from buying certain land. But,
right.
Right now a big issue that we have in America is that Blackstone, that owns Invitation Homes, well, in the early 2000s, the China State Investment Firm, which is the CCP, invested billions into Blackstone. So literally, your families are competing against the Chinese Communist Party. That's not made up. That's not hyperbolic. That's like a real life scenario that's preventing our families in the state of Florida from being able to compete with those funds. So
yeah. It's
a real
terrible.
problem.
And they're buying up farmland. I'm holding it up if you're watching our YouTube channel. They're buying up farmland. This is one of the front pages for the Epoch Times, Epic Times. The top 5 states, by the way, Texas has 123,000 acres owned by the Chinese. North Carolina, 44,000. Missouri, 42,000. Utah, 33,000 acres. And then Florida, 12,798. And Jay, I think you had put together a farm bill at one point.
Yeah, so I ran this as part of our package. It was our ag land and our critical infrastructure, so land around our spaceports, airports, our actual ports, and you got to take it serious. When China says they're on a new long march, that they're out for global economic, militaristic, and societal domination, guess what? They're not saying it for fun. They actually mean that.
Yeah.
If they don't espouse our values and they're actively fighting against this, we better take it serious and protect our people. That's our job in the government. Yeah. Josh hit on a great point. I love that. He is a fiscal and conservative watchdog here in the county, and it's so great to have him where he is. Just protecting our people every single day. So, Josh, you're doing great work. Love you. You know that. But in the end, why are we paying for all of these groups? That's not the government's job. If you want to do that, go earn the money. Go do other things. But, realistically, property tax is something that doesn't matter your race, your creed, your color, your gender, your religion. It doesn't matter. If you want to own your home, you can be free and clear of the government. That's good for everybody.
Yes.
That's opportunity for everybody.
That's right.
That's not outcome driven. That's opportunity driven.
Yeah. And when you think about adversaries like China and some of the others, they don't have elections every 4 years like we do.
That's right.
So that's one of the biggest problems. It reminds me of a study out of Harvard. It was Dr. Edward Banfield, I believe he did in Harvard, by the way. That name's severely diminished from 10 years ago in terms of their belief. They're not they don't have wisdom. In other words, they've got that intellectual knowledge. But he did a study into the upward mobilities of people in America and what makes some immigrants come to the country and then come over here with nothing and then become wealthy. And the number one thing that he did, and it was a 40 or 50-year study, was long-time perspective. Mm-hmm. Okay, so China has that long-time perspective. Yeah. Meanwhile, we're fighting it out every 4 years over partisan issues. So I think that's one of the big challenges with taking on a competitor like China, who's had favored nation status, too.
Well, people ask, why are we pushing back against TikTok? Why are we pushing back against the algorithm with Instagram and all of this stuff with our kids and education? Well, that China doesn't let their people have TikTok. It's addictive. It causes issues. Right. We have this short attention span, what I used to call this USA Today mindset. Guys, they're on a 1,000-year march. They've been fighting the same thing on the same front with the same objectives for 1,000 years as a society. We can't agree. I can't get 90% of the people to agree that oxygen is something we should breathe on a consistent basis, right? It is hard. No, I love freedom and liberty, and I love that we have conversations in our nation. Yeah. But goodness gracious, we got to remember who we are, what we stand for, and what makes America so worth fighting for and living in.
Yeah, absolutely. Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins on the Consumer Quarterback Show, Hillsborough County Commissioner Joshua Wostal. I'm your host, Brandon Rimes. And absolutely, when you think about where we're at as a country, and the next issue to talk about is the H-1B visas. And I know Governor DeSantis was talking about that recently. You also have the H-1B visas. So DeSantis, I think he's abolished the H-1B visas from being used at state universities. We can do it with Florida residents and Americans. Why do we need to bring in these foreign-born people who we see how they vote in a lot of cases?
I've had this conversation with a lot of people. First off, I completely support what the governor is doing. As always, he is thought out and he is decisive and he knows that he is on the right approach to it. We got to look out for our people. You know what I love about being America first or making America great again? They're verbs. Yeah. They take action. it means you have to be involved.
Yes.
Guys, I am tired of giving everybody access, everybody opportunity outside of our own people.
Yes.
Look, man, you want to come to America, take a legal immigration approach, do that. Take your swing, come here, become one of our citizens, and live a great life, because opportunity exists here in a way it doesn't anywhere else. But when we're crowding our university systems and we're hiring people from other countries when there are qualified and available people to fill those right here in America, homegrown talent, why are we not doing that?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Let's take care of Floridians first. I know, novel idea.
Floridians, citizens, American citizens. Right. Too many times, it's like, oh, why can't you have open borders? Don't you have a heart for them? I saw a Charlie Kirk video where he says, yeah, but it starts with the citizen. That's a biblical thing as well. You have
100%.
It starts with the family, the community, and then the citizens, of the state or the country, if you can. If you have the resources, and we don't have the resources, obviously, because also, the veterans are getting overlooked a lot still. What's the VA look like? How the veterans, from your perspective?
You want to say anything on this?
Either one of you.
I mean, I had my time at the VA, but the VA, in my opinion, epitomizes why the government should not be in control of healthcare.
Right.
I appreciate their mission, but it's in all accounts failed largely. They just need to give us community care and let the private sector compete for our business.
Right.
Choice.
Yes. Competition. Right.
Yeah. Competition drives excellence, man. That is the beauty of life, right?
It comes back to
I
that.
am completely in agreement with Josh. Look, man, I love that I served. I love our veterans, but we owe them everything. If you put your neck on the line for a nation, you signed that contract, we gave you support. We promised you something. We have to follow through.
Yeah.
I would love to see the VA block budgeted down, the money pushed down to the states, and let's let the states push and lead and take a little bit of a more unique perspective. Let's give best practices from the federal level. I would love to see the hospitals that we have, and the economics of those are so horrible.
Yes.
Just to keep them at a subpar status, it is hundreds of billions of dollars every single year that we spend on these things, and we can't get them up to a top-notch status. Why? Because we've never been able to do it, right?
Yeah.
We can't catch up. We can't get more money, and veterans settle for less.
Yeah.
I'm tired of that. I am tired of cutting corners on the backs of our service members, on the backs of our cops, on the backs of our firefighters. Take care of those who take care of us, and your nation's going to prosper.
That's right.
But you know what? You got to stand for that. I would love to see our hospitals, those VA hospitals, reimagined into a public-private partnership. Let the government own the facility. Let's bring in businesses who are great at what they do.
That's right.
Let's bring in nonprofits. You want to end veteran homelessness? Let's start using people like Tunnel to Towers, Gary Sinise, anybody else who gets in this space, and let's bring in experts in that industry. Because the one thing I've seen about the government, both in the military and in the state government, we do pretty good here in Florida, but even we have our own gaps sometimes. Yeah. We never really solve the problem we're out to solve unless we get involvement from other people. And here's what I mean. You go to solve a problem, you create a second one, a third one, a fourth one, because you didn't talk to the industry experts, and you never solve the first one. That happens so often, and it's so frustrating. Yeah. We can do better. But again, God gave us 2 ears, one mouth for a purpose. Let's ask people who are good at what they do. Let's bring them in and do better. But what I love about it, and it's healthcare, it should be choice. Yeah. I want veterans to vote with their feet. Look, if you're in a state like New York, New Jersey, and they're going to burn this thing down, give illegal immigrants all of their rights, take things away from our veterans, our first responders, our cops, our firefighters, you know what? Vote with your feet. Come to Florida. We want you here.
Yes.
Texas, we want you here. We have opportunity. We're going to support you. We're going to give your family opportunity, and we're going to let you win, because nobody wants to be number 2. Florida wants to be number 1.
That's right, and we are in so many categories. Quick break, right back. More with Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Hillsborough County Commissioner Joshua Wostal as well here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Find us online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rimes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Did you know that we buy houses cash? We can close quickly for a all-cash offer on your real estate properties, residential, commercial, even vacant land. We'll buy your property cash. No cleaning, no showings, and no hassles. You can even possibly stay in your home post-closing. Call Brandon at 813-917-1894. Submit the email at consumerqb.com or call 813-917-1894, consumerqb.com. We buy houses cash in fast. Attention business owners, did you know we have 100% financing options available? Our no money down program offers 100% financing for business owners. If you are currently leasing your commercial space, you can purchase real estate for no money down. Additionally, the program offers money for working capital, equipment, and business fixtures. You can even pay off current business debt. Reach out at 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. brimes@kw.com. And that is our 100% financing, no money down program for business owners. We would love to help you buying, selling, or investing in real estate. 813-917-1894. brimes@kw.com. Ours Creole Smokehouse, the official Pinellas County restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Say hello to Doug Clark, chef and owner Doug Clark, 310 East Tarpon Avenue, Tarpon Springs, ourscreole.com. Ours Creole Smokehouse, 310 East Tarpon Avenue, Tarpon Springs, ourscreole.com. Excellent food, wonderful ambiance. Say hello to our friend Doug Clark. If you're facing an insurance claim, don't just trust the insurance company to have your best interests at heart. This is Brandon Rimes, Consumer Quarterback Show. Reach out to rightwaypa.com, our friend Derek Coble at rightwaypa.com. Looking to level up your sales game? With 20 plus years of coaching experience spanning across several industries, Lindsay Rimes helps everyone from entry-level reps to seasoned business owners boost sales, improve work-life balance, and retain top talent with customized options catered to personal, group, or corporate settings. Brandon and Lindsay Rimes offer training on negotiation strategy, business development, and more. Let's grow your business together. Call 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Submit an email at consumerqb.com.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right, welcome back. Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty, Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins in studio with Hillsborough County Commissioner Joshua Wostal. And, we're kind of down to the wire here. Final thought here. Wanted to go back to you, Jay, and give you the floor, man.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks, Brandon. And, I want to remind people just how lucky we are. We have a governor like Governor DeSantis who has routinely stood there and taken attacks from the world during COVID, done the right thing, taken the right approach, and been the most conservative leader in our state's history, I do believe. Yeah. And I think not only is he America's our best governor right now, we call him America's governor, I think he's the best governor in any state's history. He has done such a phenomenal job. Really has. But guys, nothing's guaranteed. Yeah. We have a 1.4 million voter benefit plus, right? Yep. We're a red state. But guys, 5 years ago, we weren't there. We were upside down 400,000.
Yes.
We got there because of focused leadership, bold, conservative, focused leadership.
That's right.
And we can fall back just as quick as we got it.
Yes.
Elections have consequences. 26 is coming up. Do your research. Understand what's going on. Know the environment. And I'd ask people to focus on a few things. Mm-hmm. Focus on the facts. Focus on what I believe is the best discriminator of future potential, which is past performance.
Yes. That's right.
Have they had success? Have they been a winner? Have they solved things, created solutions, and solved real problems? Yeah. And if they're not, ask why.
Right.
And the last thing is this. I believe the best days of our nation lie ahead of us. Yeah. The best days of our state lie ahead of us. But we cannot ever come up short. It is excellence in all we do. That's the way Florida rolls, and that's what we have to keep doing.
Right on. Right on. Yep. Hey, good job. Keep it up. Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins, thanks for coming in.
Appreciate it.
Joshua Wostal, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
And quick break, right back. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rimes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rimes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rimes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, joined by Lonnie Veasley, local business broker here in Tampa Bay, can help you sell a business. Tampa Bay M&A Advisors. He is a business transfer specialist. I like that, Lonnie. Give us a little teaser of what we're going to talk about, my friend.
We could talk about whatever you want to talk about. Obviously, I switched my license here in the last month. I've sold businesses for Murphy Business Sales for the last 13-plus years, but just felt like it was a need for a change and hung my license with South Florida M&A Advisors, but we're setting up here Tampa Bay M&A Advisors. So pretty excited about that. They got a lot of nice new tools to help out these business owners in Tampa Bay get the job done for them.
And M&A stands for?
Mergers and acquisitions.
Yeah. Pretty cool, man. Selling businesses, buying land, buying real estate, buying property. We can help you do it. Right here on the show. Lonnie's a great partner on the program, so we'll talk more with him about some of the strategy. I want to ask him questions. I want to know is what's some of the hot markets right now. What are you seeing out there in terms of activity, volume? What's the thing to kind of prepare for if I do want to sell a business? Those are some of the topics that we'll touch on here in just a moment coming up here. Before we do, we want to feature our real estate properties live on air. We like to feature our properties. It's 5026 Mueller. This one's over in Safety Harbor, Mueller Lane, Safety Harbor, Florida. 3/4 of an acre. Beautiful, charming downtown Safety Harbor. This is land. You can buy and build your dream home right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. You're moments away from Felipe Parkway, where you can take in the beautiful scenic walking trails. You're just a few blocks from the beach there, from the Intercoastal Waterway there as well. 5026 Mueller's Lane, Safety Harbor, vacant land property from the Platinum MVP team. Keller Williams Realty, 15092 Southwest 14th Avenue Road. This one is Ocala, Florida. Another beautiful 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, 2285 square feet. You have 55-plus golf cart-friendly community of Summer Glen in Ocala, located on a cul-de-sac street, quiet cul-de-sac street, open concept layout, natural lighting coming through, 9-foot ceiling, screen lanai overlooking the golf course, perfect for relaxation or entertainment. And a beautiful community pool. Check out that pool. You got lap pool there, and you have a hot tub, looks like, and beautiful clubhouse. Great opportunity. And you can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. And you can see all of our radio and TV show experts at consumerqb.com.
Yeah, I'm raising my glass to those saving our ass overseas.
Quick shout out to our friend Lee over at Lee's Royal Services. Lee's Royal Services does a great job cleaning our real estate properties. Reach out to Lee at leesroyalservices.com, leesroyalservices.com. And you can also, on the exterior of the property, reach out to our friend Ramin. He's the owner of Heights Soft Wash for all of your pressure washing on the exterior of the properties, residential, commercial properties. HeightsSoftWash.com, taking clean to new heights. Say hello to Ramin over at HeightsSoftWash.com. Make sure you let him know the real estate quarterback sent you. All right, let's jump in to the content here. We got Lonnie Veasley, Tampa Bay M&A Advisors. And, yeah, Lonnie, you think about the businesses today. A lot of people, what's the heartbeat of America, right? The small business. And when people want to sell those businesses, they come to someone like you, and you help them prepare and sell and market and advertise and handle all that.
Definitely. I like to talk to the business owners 2 or 3 years in advance so they can prepare, especially their financials, because it's hard to go back and amend things. A lot of us like to do. A lot of business owners like to minimize taxes and things like that, but it kind of hurts you when you go to sell your business. What I like to tell all these business owners is every dollar you're taking from the IRS, I can get you $3 back or more, depending on the industry, when it's time to sell the business.
Nice. That's intriguing. Say that again.
Every dollar you're taking from the IRS, I can get you at least $3 back.
Nice.
When it's going to sell your business, and possibly more depending on the industry or the size of the business. Like pest control companies in Florida, they go for a higher multiple than pest control companies in other states.
Yeah,
just because there's a lot of bugs here in Florida.
Yeah, you got the multiple. So when you're selling a business, and that's what people, I think that's an underlying question that people have is, how do you value those businesses?
It's the cash flow. I mean, you got the top line number does matter as far as, hey, you're doing 10 million in sales, 5 million in sales, but really the bottom line is what really matters. So that's kind of the report card, because a lot of people can do sales, but can you manage a good business, keep your costs down, things like that, your rent, or if you bought the building, can you keep those costs down? Because if you're doing 10 million in sales and you're only bringing $50,000 of profit, that business could be worth, $150,000. But if you're doing 10 million in sales, bringing $1 million in bottom line profit, that could be 3 million, 5 million in valuation. So that's the bottom line is what really counts, not the top line. But sometimes the top line does matter psychologically. On certain things, it does matter, and then sometimes you'll have companies that are, say, $100 million or $80 million company, and there could be a company doing $20 million, not making much money, but that $80 million company wants to be a $100 million company, so they may pay for that. But most of the time, it's the bottom line, what's your cash flow. There's a lot of terms for EBITDA for the big businesses. The smaller ones, we call it cash flow, SDE, which is seller's discretionary earnings. That's the net, the owner's salary, and any kind of personal expenses they're running through the business that we re-engineer back and explain that to the buyers.
Discretionary.
Yeah, discretionary earnings.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah. So it makes a lot of sense. The more efficient that business is running, the more systems you have in place going into the future, the more maybe AI and technologies that you're able to implement and reduce cost. Those are going to affect the bottom line, and that bottom line is going to be raised the more efficient that those numbers are. So your revenue minus your cost minus your employee expenditures, other expenditures, that's going to give you that valuation on the business. Some of the hot businesses right now, what would you say are some of the best industries in terms of if I'm a listener out there, I'm in my vehicle driving down the road here, and I own a painting company, or maybe I own a construction company or electrical, plumbing, roofing company. Are those pretty solid businesses to be able to sell right now?
Those are anything the trades, construction related are very solid. My four favorite are the HVAC, plumbing, electricity, and the window and door companies, just because those are ones you have to fix. You get a window break, it's hot, or you don't want intruders coming to your house. Same thing plumbing, same thing electricity, and the HVAC. Painting, things like that, or if your pavers are bad, you can leave it like that, leave that dirt on the ground until you have the money to fix it. But those four categories, those are things that people want to protect their house with. They want, they want the electricity.
Necessity.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when we meet with buyers before they're coming in to buy through our real estate team. It's, hey, what are your needs and what are your wants, right? And sometimes those line up with their budget and sometimes it does not. But they're going to definitely have to have those needs, like 3 bedrooms, because I've got 2 kids or whatever it might be, and plus an office, so I can have my home-based office. So it sounds like that's what we're talking about here, kind of lining up those businesses that are needed and in demand for the highest valuations.
Definitely. But all the trades and construction are really great, especially in Florida, because there's just so many houses around here. We're in the suburbs, and there's just so many houses. So they're all good. I just think those are the safest ones, maybe if people are worried about AI and things like that. I just don't see robots coming in the house, walking through the house and snaking the toilet for some. If that's how you do it, I don't even know how to do it.
Yeah, they're fixing the toilets and
I've seen plumbing companies, but I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, you think about those. They're supposedly being able to fold laundry these days, things like that. And I think one of my neighbors bought like 3 of them, or they just came out. He told somebody. There's kind of the rumor floating around the neighborhood, but I said, why don't you buy one first and see how it goes? But he's, whatever. So if you just joined us, we're talking with Lonnie Veasley, Tampa Bay M&A Advisors here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and he is our local expert contributor for all things business broker related. So if you're selling a business, we want you talking to Lonnie. Reach out to the show, consumerqb.com. You can see links there to all of our expert contributors, and you can also reach out to the show hotline, 813-917-1894, 917-1894. Call or text that hotline. We'll put you in touch with Lonnie. And when you think about the economy right now, too, I just feel like we're on the cusp of something big here. I think that you've got tariffs, of course. There's pros and cons there, so depending on who you talk to. But ultimately, you have all of these different deals, these trade deals that have been done overseas. I feel like America's just really about to enter that golden age, about to bust through the seams. And it really feels like there's good things on the horizon. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I do too. I think, right now, if we are in a recession, I think we're probably in, soft one right now. I have had some of these trades companies tell me they are having some softness, but just some of them. Where 2 or 3 years ago, I'd never heard that at all. Everyone was doing great, but I still talk to a lot that are still booming, and I do think, we're gonna. I'm not sure what the real estate market's going to do. I heard Miami's tanking this morning. I'm not sure if that's true or not. I don't really check the news too much.
Maybe condo market, certain segments.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see. But I think generally speaking, things are looking good. You're going to see the interest rates being reduced. We were just talking with Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins. He's talking about the insurance industry kind of tightening up, shoring up. In other words, the tort reform that they enacted has helped some of the insurance companies maintain profitability, because there was all these frivolous lawsuits in the insurance space causing that net effect of problems with homeowners and rates. So that's getting better. And I think he said something around the auto insurance industry. Florida auto is the only one that's coming down right now out of all the 50 states. So I think there's good things happening on the horizon.
That's great. I got teenagers driving, so one driving, one about to be driving. He's in his permit, so yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, that's a lot of fun years right there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Are you teaching them? Are you in the co-passenger or the?
Yeah, well, the one's driving now. She's 16. She's driving, and then the 15-year-old, he's driving. They're pretty good. I made him take. I made her, when he gets his license, I made him take defensive driving school, because how it is around here. It's not what you're doing; it's what everyone else is doing.
Exactly. Yeah, what everybody else is doing. Yeah, and then especially when you add that wet roads into the scene with the summertime, man. Whew, that's a tough one.
Oh yeah.
But if you just joined us, we're talking with Lonnie Veasley here, Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rimes, and we talk a lot about the local economy, things happening here locally. And it's really interesting to see, too, with this DOGE efforts, the Florida DOGE FAFO audit so far, after reviewing just 9 local governments. This said text from Blazing Golia. They've exposed over $1.5 billion in excessive and wasteful spending in the state of Florida. And that's just 9 governments. Think about it. There's 67 counties. How many number of municipalities are there, cities, small cities? But, you look at Miami-Dade coming in at $302 million in Miami-Dade, and that's probably going to be one of the worst. City of Miami, $94 million, but that's the amount of excessive spending. Total wasteful spending found now sits at about $1.5 billion over 9 governments. And, it's just crazy. If we ran our business like some of these counties and cities, we'd be in trouble, wouldn't we?
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Yeah. You think about that. And, so when you look at interest rates, and when people are buying these businesses, is it mostly cash? Are you seeing financing in there? What do you think? SBA?
Yeah, it's a mixture. If you have a small deal, $200,000-$300,000, yeah, that's a lot of cash. But once you start getting up to about $1 million to about $8 million, I would say 90% is SBA, because the SBA will loan up to $5 million. So if you got a deal, say about $7 million, SBA will loan $5 million. Buyer puts down either $1 million or $2 million or $1 million, and the seller holds a note for $1 million.
Yeah.
So usually it's around that $7 million mark, and then once you start getting even bigger, there's a lot of cash too on the bigger deals, the private equity stuff. I mean, they're just paying cash.
Yeah.
For a lot of these, and a lot of the construction related businesses too. They're trying to get it to where they're just touching the home. Everyone's touching the home. Like this, 3 or 4 years ago, I had a solar business. Solar company for sale, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. I mean, a big security company. How about that? A big home security company put an offer in on it because they want everything. They want
to vertically
landscaping,
integrate.
You have your house painting, anything, clean your pool. They're trying to consolidate the whole industry.
That makes a lot of sense, because think about it. If you're doing one of the different services, now you can remarket to them the other services. That's a pretty cool.
That's what
idea.
They're doing. Yeah, but a lot of the sellers I work with here, they want, which is, and I kind of agree. I mean, and at the end of the day, you got to get the deal done. But a lot of the sellers I work with, they don't want me to sell to private equity, just because they rather see another local person own the business, and they're just a concern that if all these service businesses are private equity, all of us are going to have trouble when we have a plumbing issue or something. It's not. Just the service overall hasn't been good. And I'm not saying that about all private equity companies, but that's been the knock on them, that they buy a local company here, they turn it big, and the service is not good anymore. That's what the knock is. I'm not going to say that's 100% true or not.
Right. Yeah, I can see that. I could see that. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come right back and talk with Lonnie Veasley here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. He's a local business broker. You're thinking about buying, selling a business, reach out to the show. We'll put you in touch with Lonnie. Tampa Bay M&A Advisors here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And we'll jump into some other topics around this strategy. Also, maybe if you have any listings, maybe we'll talk about some of the listings that you may have. And recent success stories here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Also reminding you about our December 4th party over at Crown and Bowl in Dunedin. You're invited. Our audience is invited. Santa Claus is going to be there. Photo opportunities, light apps provided. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. Tired of long lines at the airport? Check out Tampa Bay's premier private jet source. I'm Brandon Rimes for Will Smith Aviation. Aircraft management, acquisition, and sales, luxury jet escapes, and packages. Check them out online. WillSmithAviation.com. That's WillSmithAviation.com. Or call the show. I'll put you right in touch directly with Captain Will Smith. AmericaFirstPatriotStore.com for all of your non-woke, American-made products. American values, Christian, conservative American values. Say hello to my business partner, Jim McCune at AmericaFirstPatriotStore.com. David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin.com. Say hello to Shane Socash, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show, 4009 Central Avenue, St. Petersburg. Online at David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin.com for all of your precious metals and jewelry design. David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin.com. Hey, Brandon Rimes here for Jason Coble, owner of Coble Law. Coble Law has been handling injury cases in Tampa for the past 14 years and has a specialized approach focused on limiting client cost and maximizing client profit. TampaWorkCompLaw.com, TampaWorkCompLaw.com. Jason Coble, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show, personal injury law, and work comp law. Hey, Brandon Rimes here for our friends at TargetSurveying.net for all of your surveying needs. Land surveying firm providing services for real estate since 1992, and they are statewide. Check them out online, TargetSurveying.net. That's TargetSurveying.net. Selling commercial, vacant land, or residential properties? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rimes. You can reach me at 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. That's consumerqb, like quarterback.com. Buying, selling, investing, or refinancing? We would love to talk to you. Thank you so much and have a blessed day. You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
And we're back. Brandon Rimes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP team. Keller Williams Realty, helping our sellers sell faster for more money with less headaches, maximizing the exposure and the profit on the sale of our real estate listings. We greatly appreciate everybody that reaches out to the show hotline. We had an uptick in calls lately for folks supporting the local economy by supporting the Consumer Quarterback Show, and all of our expert contributors greatly appreciate that. We got a property here at 10431 Southeast 127th Lane in Bellevue. This one's compliments of Jamie on our team. That one is a motivated seller, 10431 Southeast 127th Lane, Bellevue, Florida. Great opportunity to buy real estate. We shout out to Jamie. She's a hardworking agent out there. She works really hard for her clients. 103 Brigadoon Drive, Clearwater. We have this one as a motivated seller as well. We are talking about a Clearwater property, 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 1536 square feet, updated 3-story residence with no rear neighbors. Get a low HOA there as well, and great opportunity to buy real estate close to the beach. You're only about 8 miles away from Clearwater Beach, and you're close to Bayside Bridge as well. 103 Brigadoon Drive, Clearwater, Florida. Another one of our beautiful listings, and you can see all of our properties at platinummvpteam.kw.com. And you can also see our radio show expert contributors and links to previous shows at consumerqb.com.
Only in America, dreaming in red, white, and blue.
All right, Lonnie Veasley back in studio with us. And small businesses in the U.S. employ nearly half of the country's private sector workforce, according to ChatGPT, based on recent data from the SBA. Small businesses employ approximately 45.9% of America's workforce, around 59 million to 61.7 million people. So it's interesting to see, but that big question, the underlying question is, what are they categorizing as a small business, right?
Yeah, there's different categorizations, whether it's employees or total sales. It's
right.
I don't know if anyone really knows, but 10 million in sales and under 20 million, I have no idea.
Right.
They categorize that, but it is a true stat, though. There's more small businesses out there than there are these big corporations.
Yeah, it's interesting. And what I don't like to see is these big companies consolidating, buying each other's up. I don't like to see the big company that starts with the AM. I don't even want to say the name. They're so big, Amazon, anyways. But what happens is they buy. They'll have a successful product on there.
Oh yeah,
right? And that product will be selling, and then they'll just cut them out and they'll just manufacture it themselves.
Yeah, my parents, they were retired. My dad's 24 years military, but yeah, they were doing that. I don't know how many years ago, maybe 7-10 years ago, and they would come up with these products that they would have, and then they would, my mom call, complaining to me like, "Oh, they stole our product. They're doing it," and they finally threw in the towel 4 or 5 years ago on that.
Yeah, and and I've talked to Carmine Deniseco with the United Inventors Association. He's got a lot of products. He says, China's notorious for ripping off the intellectual properties and things like that.
Yeah, I was involved with a startup. There's a few of them, but when I first started doing this about 13, 14 years ago, I don't think I was explaining it right, and I don't know if I had shiny eyes, and people thought I was Shark Tank.
Okay.
And I got involved. It was a nice startup. So it took a lot of time. Kind of got me off to a slow start doing this, but I learned that the international patent back then, it was like $100,000 if you wanted an international patent, but they said China and a few other countries that don't respect it anyway.
At all.
So
yeah.
What's
your advice to young entrepreneurs, young business owners? What would you think? Some of the lessons learned. I mean, you just hit on one of them, is the power of focus, right? You can't spread your focus too much. What say you?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. You get picking one thing. I know some people say, all these side hustles and things like that, and I think that's fine, but I just think you need to first dominate something first.
Be good at one thing.
And then you can start focusing on it. If you're just pretty good at it or very good at it, and you start getting into something else, you're never going to be great at that. I think be great at that first, then start doing a few other things. Yeah,
and then focus on cash flow. I mean, that's what all businesses come down to. It comes down to cash flow. If you don't have cash flow to pay the bills, pay the rent, pay the lights or whatever, employees, you're going to have problems. So that's why you got to focus on, origination, bringing in those new deals, new business, cash flow.
Learn finances. Take a basic finance class or get a book or something like that. But it's all comes down to money. It doesn't matter what good product you have. There's a lot of good products out there. I'm sure there's probably better. I know there's actually some better electric cars than Tesla that I've seen. Mm-hmm. But he does his finances well. Plus he got a government subsidy as well. But right. So it's not always about the best product. It's about being smart how to market it and knowing your cash flow. Right. Yeah, cash flow and making sure you're again back to focusing on what matters, focusing on taking care of your clients, taking care of your both external and internal clients. Your team is your internal clients in a way, right? Definitely. Yeah. All right, Lonnie Veasley, how can people connect with you, man? Well, I mean, the best way is the phone number, 727-238-4074. And what's my new email address? I've got a new email here. So was it Lonnie at Tampa Bay? .ma. Yeah, Tampa Bay. Reach out to the show. Yeah, consumerqb.com. Or call me is good. Or text. Yep. And consumerqb.com. We'll put you in touch with Lonnie. You can hit us up on an email there as well. You can find all of our contact info. And we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness and do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. We'll see you next time. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Call Brandon Rimes at 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.